Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I am Constip and this is going to be part 6 of my early campaign where I'm playing as England. And so far in this campaign I'm feeling pretty secure and I'm feeling pretty content with the way that things are going. My treasury, I'm sitting at almost 2,500 and I'm making a decent sum for this stage of the campaign, making 1,700 per turn. Which is, that's okay, you know, considering that I haven't even developed any trade routes yet. That's an okay number. There's a few other things that are fine, you know, like my forces that are guarding my frontier provinces. They're fine. They have a good composition by now of 3 archers, 3 hobblars, and 3 urban militia, which is fine. But I think you can probably see where I'm getting at, which is that there is room for improvement, right? I'm lacking spears in my armies, and I've been holding off on that just because of the support cost that these spears entail. I will be using Feardmen, as I have mentioned before, and their support cost is 62, which is pretty insane. It's not okay. No, I don't want to be over dramatic. It's not insane. It's a lot. It's a 100-man unit, so it's going to be more. What is a basic spearman? So a basic spearman's only going to be 50 support costs. So there is an argument to be made for going with basic spearmen as opposed to the Feardmen and saving a bit more money, because I am aiming for having 3 spearmen or Feardmen in each of my armies. Those are going to be good units for holding the line, and that's not something that I really have right now. I don't really have a unit that can hold the line, so that's room for improvement that needs to be made at some point. However, I'm trying to balance this with also trying to get my trade jump started. This is very, very common for my campaigns in this game, is at this stage of the campaign. Now that I have my borders more or less secure, I do want to get trade going. However, that's a really big task. It involves, as I've mentioned before, getting ports going, getting trading posts going, building up to the tier 2 keep, that is, and that is the keep, right? Yeah, my goodness, I'm forgetting things. And then also getting the boat rights, the ship rights, boat rights, something. It's the boat building. And then going full speed ahead with multiple provinces building boats, not just 1 or 2, but like many, just to get as many boats in the water as fast as possible. So that's a big task. However, I don't want to get lost, you know, in all of that I do have other priorities that I need to sort of balance with that as well. Playing as a crusading faction. Now, I can crusade at any point in this campaign, is my understanding. However, if I want to get these achievement goals set, I need to get these crusade objectives before the year 1204. And it's the year 1114, so I did the math on this, and if I were to start building a keep right now, and the keep itself would take 8 years, and then the church would take 8 years, and then the chapter house, the church would take 4 years, the chapter house would take 4 years, so that's 16 altogether right there, and then the crusade marker itself takes another 4, so 20 years before I can actually get my first crusade marker, if I were to start building a keep right now. And then from there, how long would it take to get, for instance, I was recommended to me that I do send crusades from Mercia, because I could get possibly the Sherwood Foresters, which is a pretty rare unit. That'd be pretty awesome to have, honestly. So if I were to do that here in Mercia, then it would take, let's just kind of guess here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So maybe 13 turns to get down to Antioch. And then, so it'd be 20 years before I can send my first crusade. That would be 1134. And then 13 years, so 1144, 1147 would I be getting to Antioch, for instance. And then I could have my second crusade being sent out immediately after that. And then they would be going to either Edessa or Tripoli or Palestine. And it would be very tight, I think, to get them all in before I did do the math on this, like really rough math before I started recording, and I could get them done in like the 1180s, I think, if I were to go back to back to back to back, which gives me a little bit of wiggle room for sure. That gives me around 20 years or so of wiggle room, which is nice. You know, it's nice to not just, you know, bring things straight to the deadline, you know. With that being said, though, I think it's time. It's time to get things underway, but I have to balance that. I can't just go all in on Crusades now, and you know, military or whatever. I need to get my economy going, because getting those Crusade armies and putting them in a Crusade is awesome because they don't cost any upkeep. That's wonderful. But then as soon as I make my objective, I'm paying for those units again. So it's like, ooh, man, I need to be able to afford that. And then I have another Crusade coming out right behind that first one. Okay, well, great. But then it's more units I have to pay for. Yeah, getting that economy going and balancing that with getting those Crusade objectives is really unique and kind of a fun thing for these Crusade factions that I'm looking forward to taking it upon myself. So I'm going to follow the advice that was given, and I'm going to be building my Crusades here in Mercia to try to get those unique units that are available here. So let's go keep right away. And that's going to be 1,000 florins out of my 25, essentially. And I need to balance this. So I think I want to continue to aim for getting my ports going. I have ports being built in Flanders and Aquitaine. Let's see, honestly, getting a keep in Wessex feels like a good idea, because then I could get closer to getting that boat building. I'm just going to call it a shipwright, because I think it's called a shipwright. That's also tempting, but getting the ports out of the way, like kind of doing things in stages, that also feels like it's a good idea. I'm building stuff in Wales and Northumbria. I'm not building anything in Scotland. I could get some improved farmland here, but the return on this is very low. 146 over 123, so yeah, it's getting like 20 or so florins. On low taxes, mind you, but still, that's a pretty low return. I will look towards that eventually, but I think that for now I might want to go port here in Brittany. Gosh, I don't know. Just getting this out of the way. It's cheap, that's the thing. 600 florins. And then that would leave me with roughly 800 florins left to spend. So if I can find a good reason or a good way to spend 800 florins, then I might just go that route. Like, actually, yeah, that's what I can do. I can just get I can afford all of that. Yeah, I can get a improved farmland up here in Scotland, and I can also get a port here in Brittany, because that's only 750. Yeah, okay, that works. Perfect. It means I'm not going to be training anything, so I'm still going to be neglecting those spears, but I'm going to hope that the French behave themselves, even though they do seem kind of scary. The fact that the Germans are right here, just sitting here menacingly looking at the French, and the fact that they are my allies and they're not the French allies. I mean, the fact that the French have no allies, it's rough for them. So unless the Germans are thinking about, you know, betraying me, which they shouldn't, it'd be dumb. That'd be a dumb thing to do. We are allied with the Aragonese as well, correct? Yeah, we're allied with the Aragonese, the Spanish. Well, we have a bunch of allies. We're doing pretty well. Our king's pretty old. Our king's getting up there in age. He's 56, so like he's still fine, but you know, he could. 57 is typically when I start to expect kings to start dying of old age. So that might happen pretty soon. His son, Prince William, is going to be the next in line. He has been married for quite some time, so I wouldn't be surprised if he had a son on the way. Let's see, Prince Henry has just come of age in the last episode. He's 4 stars, so it would be tempting to send him down here to lead Prince William's army. However, Prince William does, despite the fact that he's a 2-star general, gentle knight and natural leader altogether is giving him +5 morale for the army that he's leading. That's pretty gosh darn good, so I'm fine with you leading that army here in Anjou. I'm tempted to send down Prince Henry just because I would like to have another unit of Royal Knights down here. But I'd rather that he's going to be the next king. So like if he has a chance to get some combat experience, I wouldn't mind it for him to be the leader of that army. So actually, Prince Henry, you can hang out with Dad, because Dad's going to be kicking the can pretty soon here. So Prince Henry, yeah, having a 4-star up here, ready to take over command of this army in due time, that's going to be pretty nice. Let's bring these Hobblars down. I want to get them retrained in Aquitaine. And Feared Man cannot be moved. Okie dokie. And let's see, let's put these peasants in Scotland. And can I move these urban militia? I kind of doubt it. Well, if I put it on very low, I can. So that's an option. Gosh, should I just go Town Watch to increase the public order over here? 200 florins instead of the 600 florins. Because then I could make, I would be making more money that way, you know, by being able to tax higher. I can afford this for now, and I already did the math on stuff, so let's not have to do math twice. Let's just go with what I have, and I can get that Town Watch in there later. I also have Princess Mary, who I just brought over from Lesser Armenia. She was kind of scouting things out in the Middle East, and she's 31, so she's pretty close to retiring. And I don't, you know, I'm trying to do a better job in this campaign of not wasting my princess's retirement on being single. You know, what a waste. And instead, like, try to find opportunities to marry them off, either to generals. I don't want to marry them to my family. That's a little too gross, even for a video game. Sir Odo Borlong, man, he's just super loyal, so there's no point there. It doesn't feel like. Even though I already am married into the German family, and I don't know if multiple marriages helps keeps things secure. I don't know. I've done it before. I think it was my first like Danish practice campaign that I played. I think that I was using a lot of marriages to kind of make sure the Germans just, kept away from me. And I don't know if the marriages had anything to do with it, but they left me alone. So let's just see if I can. Okay, so there are no unmarried men in the German faction. Okay, well, what about? Yeah, let's just try with the Aragonese. In fact, we can come down here, cancel that mission in there. Yeah. Yeah, let's just try to keep these alliances as secure as possible. Before I end this turn, I do want to discuss some exciting news that has been uncovered in the medieval Total War world, which is that there's another channel that has been covering medieval Total War that I've mentioned quite a few times, Count MRVHS. He's someone who like me, kind of likes to explore certain mechanics in this game. And I've mentioned before that he is currently playing a Spanish campaign where he's trying to figure out the inheritance mechanic that is in this game. And not so much in that campaign, but an actual a side campaign that he was playing on the side as Scotland in the Viking invasion campaign. He was able to get the inheritance mechanic to work. And it's my understanding that there's like one of two or possibly two things that kind of go into the inheritance mechanic. One is that it does seem like it needs to be either the king or the heir that has been married into the other faction, or more specifically, the other princess is married into. So the thing, but here's the part that's complicated though, is that it's my understanding that, so here's what's so weird about getting like these alliances is that when you're the one that asks another faction or another, faction's princess to marry into your family, that does not come with an alliance. It just comes with a marriage. However, if it's another faction proposing that marriage alliance, it is a marriage alliance. But only if they are the ones that propose it. So the way that the inheritance mechanic works, possibly, like I said, possibly it has to be your faction's king or heir. I'm not 100% sure on that, but the part that does seem like it seems true is that it needs to be the other faction requesting that marriage alliance. Now that information puts me in a very awkward position. On one hand, I would love to get an inheritance thing to happen in my campaigns. That'd be really neat. However, I like to take initiative when it comes to making sure that my princes are married, because I know the worst thing in this game is just losing because you don't have any sons left and you didn't get you guys married off in time. And they, with the Catholic factions, you can take some, accountability because you actually have some agency to get your men married whenever you get the chance to, right? Relying on the AI factions to request that that marriage alliance, that's a scary thing for me. I like to take action and actually like to make sure that, these things the job gets done. Kids are being born and the family line will continue on. That's what I like to do. So sitting around and waiting for another faction to request marriage into my family, that makes me nervous, especially when we're talking about situations where it has to be the king or the heir. Like, oh my goodness, that terrifies me. However, in this case, see, since I'm not certain yet, and maybe Count MRVHS, maybe he's uncovered the true behind this by now. I don't know. I need to talk to him. I'm a little behind on messaging him, but what I would like to, what I'm going to sort of guess or hope at, I'm going to keep Prince Henry for now. He's my youngest of I think I have six sons, right? I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sons. Oh, 6. So I do have Prince Edward. He's my 6th son. But these guys are all married. Stephen, Edmund, Alfred, and William are all married. That leaves Prince Henry not married. And that's probably fine when it comes to, making sure that the family line is secure. That's probably an okay position to be in. So the question though is, I don't know if a faction would ever request a marriage alliance if the alliance already exists. So would the Germans ever send one of their princesses in my direction asking for a marriage? Would the Aragonese ever do so? Would any of these factions ever do so? This is something that the Count has been very good at, as he's been selective in his Spanish campaign when it comes to trying to pick and choose who he gets alliances with, because he wants people to come to him with marriage alliances and not just basic alliances, thinking that if he gets just a basic alliance, then they will have no incentive to later on, offer a marriage alliance. And I sort of kind of, wagged my finger at that and was like, no, it doesn't matter. I don't know. I kind of lectured him a little bit, but I think he's totally right. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong about pretty much everything that I thought about inheritance mechanics. I thought he was being way too selective. I thought he was thinking too much. And I thought that a lot of agent mechanics, they work through brute force when it comes to using inquisitors or assassins or spies. A lot of these mechanics are brute force mechanics, religious agents. You just have to do it consistently many times with many of them over and over and over again to get these mechanics to work for many agents. And I kind of thought that the inheritance mechanic was sort of a similar deal. I didn't think that you had to really finesse it as much as what it seems like you do. It seems like you really do have to finesse it quite a bit. So it appears like I was wrong just about every freaking thing about it. And being wrong is one thing, but it was more like I was just hoping that it wasn't that way. Because as I mentioned before, I like to take action. I don't want to just wait for someone to offer their princesses, because I need my guys to get married. It makes me nervous when I have to wait for them to get married to someone from my own court, because that's completely not up to me. And if they're already in their late 30s or early 40s when they become king and they're not married, oh God, that's just a terrifying feeling. It's awful. It's awful, awful. So anyway, that's some exciting news. Go check out Count's channel if you want to actually watch this stuff yourself, because it's very interesting. It's really fun to see other YouTubers and other just people in general that are really fascinated about the inner workings of this game. Now, another thing that he pointed out, which is fascinating, because I mentioned in the last episode, why is Prince Alfred continuing to get these magnificent builder and steward traits, even though he is not a governor? He cannot be a governor because he is an heir, or he is of royal blood, right? So why is he getting these traits? And the Count pointed out, well, hey, maybe it's coming from the people that are under his command, who are also governors. Well, that makes sense. There's 3 of them. 4. There's 4 governors that are under the command of Prince Alfred. So would it make sense for one of these guys, if not multiple of these guys, to be granting him the steward trait, which is this is a farming trait. This is +10 happiness and +10% agricultural production, which would make sense because Flanders has a 40%, no, just 20%, but still. One of these guys is the Count of Flanders, correct? Yes, Lord Wulfstan, Count of Flanders. So it appears like Prince Alfred sniped Lord Wulfstan's steward trait. That should be your trait. Flanders should be getting 10% bonus to its farm income, but he's not, but they're not. And then same thing for whoever the magnificent builder trait belongs to. That belongs to either Lord Percy or Lord Wulfstan or Lord de Very or Lord Wulfstan. We got 2 Lord Wulfstans. They look very different though. The bearded one and the non-bearded one. But that belongs to one of those guys, like not Prince Alfred. So both myself and the Count, I think, have different ideas of what we should be doing with this information. It's hard to say. It's a lot for me to take in right now, and I'm not going to change the way that I play immediately, but there is some things to think about. One of the ideas is to make sure that all of the governors are basically just holding down their own garrison in each of their individual provinces. That means that they will always be the commander of their stack, even if they are with a unit of peasants. They always will be the commander because governors do overrule non-governors, which makes sense. That means that they will always be getting the traits that they are meant to be getting. That includes the bad traits though. So there is a downside to this. But that's an idea. But that means, that's 4 units. It's like taking half the army off of Normandy and spreading them out. So I'm not doing this yet. But that's just an idea. That's just something that's tumbling around in my brain. What do I do with this information? I'll figure it out eventually. But I wanted y'all to know this. That's fascinating. I did not know. I did not know that that's how that worked. All right, enough talking, enough chit chat. Let's drop a save. And let's try to bang some turns out. This is literally my first turn. I've been talking for half an hour. This is my first turn that I've played in this episode. But things potentially can start to move a bit faster. Gosh, the Egyptians are... Yeah, the King of Aragon has died. The Holy Roman Empire has died as well. Okay. Copper Mine Complex finished here in Wales and not Northumbria. I thought Northumbria would have theirs finished up as well. Yeah, so we just saw that the Egyptians were taking rum. I want to get another princess or spy over there. I want to see what's going on. It's interesting. If the Egyptians, because I saw the Egyptians and Turks were pushing the Byzantines out of Edessa and Lesser Armenia, and then they just push right into Rum. But the last I saw, those Egyptian stacks were like all peasants. Like all peasants. So, yeah. Anyway, the new Aragonese, I almost called him new Aragonese president. No, the king. King Sancho II, 40 years old. He is married. He has 4 stars. He looks okay. 4 dread, 4 piety, 3 acumen. Very well balanced, sir. But he's a little overweight. -1 valor. Okay. Can't be good at everything, I guess. It looks like he has a brother as well, Prince Fernando. Another 4 stars. And yeah, he looks okay. I wanted to get my eyes on the German Emperor. So it's not you. You must be one of the brothers. Prince Ludwig, 1 star. Not super great. And we have no German Emperor there. No. Nothing up here. No. Alright, so where? I know there's a cheating way of figuring out. I could go talk to the emissary, and then that'll tell me where the German king is if I look at my emissary. But I don't want to do that. I'll just move around and look for him. Right now I'm just kind of like low key spying anyway. And so my princess, I think her mission got dropped because the king died. And yeah, King Sancho II's married, so... But you're not married. Okay, so let's try that again. I'm glad that I double-checked that, because it seems like that mission got dropped when the old king died. Oh, there's plenty of dudes here, yeah. Yeah, we can definitely marry into the Aragonese family. There's a whole host of men waiting in line. Oh no, Mary didn't make it. No. So it's not 35. It's like 33, I guess. Man, 33 is young. Jesus. She wasn't able to marry into the Aragonese royal family. All right, well. Oh, shit. Okay. And now there's a big rebellion happening in Navarre. Jesus. And the Byzantines are the richest. So that means the Byzantine emperors in Armenia, which... As long as they hold Trebizond still, that means he's not cut off from the rest of his empire. But like the fact that he's in Armenia looks like he's in a precarious situation. All right, farmland is finished here in Scotland, and yes, copper mine complex finished here in Northumbria as well. Prince Alfred, this is the one that we were just looking at in Normandy. Charitable, +10 happiness. Again, that could be. Maybe that's supposed to be going to one of his governors, perhaps. That's under his tutelage. Let's check out this rebellion in Navarre. Gosh, dang. 4 Genites, 2 archers, 1 feudal sergeant. This is a tier 2 spearman unit. And then 4 peasants. Gosh, it's not a bad rebellion. I mean, I reckon I would put my money on the rebels there. On taking back Navarre. Huh. Yeah, that's... Loyalty's only 94%. Like, it's not that bad, you wouldn't think. Yeah, it's a little under 100, but like, it's not that bad. And I saw the German emperor as well. What you about? 42 years old, 4 influence, 4 command. All right, you're 4 influence, it's a little low. It's a little low. The reason why I wanted to know this is because if he were to betray me, he would be losing influence. I think it's only like 1. I think you only lose like 1 point of influence for betraying an ally. But that, maybe that's enough to dissuade him from doing so. Hopefully. Oh, shoot. We have ourselves a flood in Wessex. In the mid game and the late game, these sorts of things don't matter so much, but in the early game, having a town watch destroyed doesn't feel so good. Now I have to spend a couple turns rebuilding that, and then also, not making that income off of Wessex also doesn't feel too great either. Now, this is my 6th son, who is of age, Prince Edward, so that's going to be the last one. You're only allowed 6 per king. Prince Edward, secret adulterer, so yes, he's going to be losing piety when this is discovered. And then great warrior, so yeah, that's +5 health, that's always a good one. Just checking out the Italians down here. What do they have here? Prince Giovanni, 3 stars. Unhinged loon. Oh, that sucks. -3 morale, -30 happiness. Friendly. +2 acumen, +20 happiness. Okay. Yeah, unhinged loon. That's a bad one. Now let's go back to you though, Prince Edward. Plenty loyal, tons of dread. Dread must be an English thing. That must be an English thing because I've never seen this much dread. I'm curious to keep an eye on this throughout the rest of the campaign because yeah, that seems like an English thing. Anyway, yes. So Prince Edward. So what this means is that when the king does finally die and Prince William takes over, he's gonna have these 5 brothers, and it's my understanding that how's this gonna work? Prince William's, so Prince Alfred will be the next in line until Prince William's son comes of age. And then as soon as that son comes of age, all of these other men, all these other brothers will no longer be in line for the throne. And then, and only then can he start to have more sons, I believe. But he caps out at 6 heirs essentially. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So Prince William's son is going to have to come of age before these men, you know, disinherit their succession potential, and then he can start having more sons. Essentially, I think so. Anyway, all right, Prince Edward, where do I want you? I wouldn't mind having you down here in Aquitaine, just to have an additional unit of Royal Knights down there. Yeah, let's go ahead and start sending you in that direction. Now my king has died from an illness, but Prince William is now ready to become king. And the Aragonese are happy. Well, they should be. They have just taken back Navarre. Yeah, that must have been quite a fight. And the Turkish sultans died from an illness as well. Inn has been finished here in Wales. And farmland is finished up as well in Anjou and Normandy. And yeah, that's one way to win a fight. Bring 5 units of Royal Knights. That did the trick. Oh dear, yeah, they're a little banged up. This unit only has 1 left, although he didn't fight, of course. But these units, he only has 5 men left, and he has 1 man left. 8 valor on that prince, and 6 valor on that prince and his bodyguard. Yeah, that was a tough fight to get rid of those Genites in Navarre. I hope that was worth it, Aragonese, or Aragon? Aragon? Yeah. I have another princess here. Princess Elizabeth is checking things out. And yeah, so the Turks have taken back Rum, and they're holding on to it pretty strongly. They have Armenia, obviously. So I just want to keep an eye on what's happening over here. Do I want to go to Georgia? Yeah, I'll do Georgia, and then I'll come back around and check out Edessa and Antioch, and then Lesser Armenia. So I want to see if the Byzantines hold on to Georgia still. Oh, right, yeah, so this is a little bit awkward. King William III. Ooh, 3 influence. 3 influence is not great. Ugh, shoot. That will be going up because I'm holding on to all of my homeland's territories. So that will be going up. Interesting. I feel like, I'm trying to think. So Scotland and Wales have been pretty gosh darn good on loyalty up until the death of the king. And it's my understanding, I feel like influence, in my experience, has always just been linked to the actual loyalty of the generals themselves. And specifically any new, captains / generals that get trained up now. So I feel like if I were to go around here and look at these guys' loyalties, nothing would change. They're all as good as they were when they were underneath the last king. However, these newly trained up guys, I just trained up these feared men. Okay, so he's looking okay. He's looking okay. And he's fine. And you're fine. Okay, so maybe they're fine because they were trained up in the same turn that the old king was still alive, maybe? But the point being that I would expect that any unit to be trained as of now, essentially, would be coming out with pretty low loyalty. But that everyone that's on the map right now would be fine. That's my understanding of how that works. However, the fact that Wales and Scotland are suffering so severely from a loyalty drop, that doesn't seem random. You know? So let's lower taxes in these places. Lower taxes. Because they were just doing fine. Like, both places were just doing perfectly fine. And there's no break in... Because, like, what can happen is if the king's influence cannot reach a certain area, like overseas, for instance, like there's no ships linking his province to other territories, then there can be drops in loyalty in that situation, but that wouldn't be the case here. There's just a straight up drop in loyalty. That's interesting. I don't know. I've never really I've never noticed low influence leading directly to a provincial loyalty lowering. It's always been like government, or not government, but general loyalty, captain loyalty. That's very, very interesting. Now, bringing him to Flanders wouldn't be a bad thing because without having ships here, these are still linked provinces because you can just move land units across. So that's not going to be an issue here. The fact that he was automatically crowned in Wessex is a little annoying because I don't want him all the way back here. I'd rather have a leader down here in Anjou. But I have leaders nearby. What I can do is I can bring Prince Edward down. You can lead in Anjou. Yeah, that's fine. And maybe... Yeah, I can bring up you as well. And so now where's the king going to hang out? Because, like, everyone is a better general than him. Yes, he does have those really nice morale traits. Natural leader and gentle knight are very good, but... You know, 4 stars, 5 stars, 3 stars... I might just bring him back down to Anjou, honestly. Let's just do that. And does he have any sons on the way, like right away? Looks like he does. Looks like he has Prince Richard and Princess Mary. I think both belong to him. And Prince Richard is going to be of age in 6 years. And you are 46, so you will be 52 when your son comes of age. So that should be fine. Yeah. That should be perfectly fine. Oh, the French are invading. It looks like kind of a small force. Yeah, that's a very strange invasion force. It's kind of like they're just throwing stuff away. 4 archers, 2 units of militia sergeants, which is it's a decent melee unit for sure. And then 4 units of ballistas. I outnumber them by over 200 men. And I have a capable, balanced army. Again, no spearmen, but yeah, 3 archers, 3 hoplars, 3 urban militia, and then 2 units of royal knights, including Prince Alfred himself, 5 valor. His unit is a bit damaged from that initial fight, where he did fight against the French in that very first fight. He still has 13 men left in his unit, though, so it's fine. I just haven't had a chance to get that unit trained up again. So yeah, this should be a win. Normandy is looking pretty flat, so my cavalry should have room to maneuver and get in on all of his archers and ballistas, and we should have should wrap them up pretty nicely here. As I expected, this is overall a pretty flat map here, pretty open, although we have a little bit of a forest here where I am able to deploy and hide my hoplars and then 1 unit of royal knights that will be attempting to get into either the ballistas or rear charging into the archers, or just kind of causing havoc. And then presenting a front here with my archers and urban militia with peasants and reserve, and then royal knights as my general. No point in trying to hide him because you can't hide generals. They will always be visible even in the forest, is my understanding. One annoyance of mine, which is something that I'm always reminded of when I've been playing a little bit of Shogun in the background. And in Shogun, this is such a weird thing. In Shogun, as the defender in medieval and Shogun, you can deploy your army, right? Oops, wait, didn't mean to do that. But, so like what I like to do in all of the Total War games that I play is use not unit formations, but group formations to easily make it easier to control my armies. So like what I will do is I know that group, if I just press the number 5, that's archers in the front and melee in the back. And then if I want to press, it's different for each game. I think it would be 4 would be melee in front and archers in back. I would have to remind myself, but in Shogun, you can just do that in the pre-battle screen and get your guys set up. Whereas in this, I can't. I can press 5 and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't. I have to wait until the battle starts and then I have to get my guys into the exact formation that I want. Now you might say, well, I can just form them, right? Like, yeah, I can, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be in this order because I don't know exactly, you know, which units, like this unit might be here, or this unit might be here, you know, or this unit might be here. So like, yeah, this is the general idea, but yeah, it's just annoying that I can't do that from the beginning. Anyway, all right, let's just get going here. All right. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I press 5 and then they're all set, you know? And what would it be if I wanted to do infantry? Yeah, 4. So 4 would be infantry in front, but I don't want to do that. I want to do archers in front. Like that. Let's just get peasants up here. And Prince Alfred. Roll it up. And are they already like shooting at my guys in the forest? Can they hit me? Can they see me? They're in range of my dudes. Yeah, they're shooting at me. That's interesting. All right. Well, let's back. Do they see my freaking my freaking guys? It kind of seems like they do. Where let's see. You guys. Yeah, they just turned around and they're shooting at me. Let's not actually engage in the forest. That feels dumb because horses get a really bad penalty for fighting in the forest. So let's come out of the forest here. And let's see here. All right, well, if they're in range of us, I mean, ballistas are not a very threatening unit, you know? Standing there and getting shot by them doesn't feel good either way, though. So let's just move up there. And let's check in on my dudes. And yeah, let's just kind of come around here and here. So let's keep an eye on that. Didn't mean to do that. So are archers in range of stuff? Are we shooting? Not quite yet. Let's spread my lines out a bit more so my archers have a better... Yeah, they've picked off a few of my guys. Alright, militia sergeants, you know, not gonna lie, they can be a tricky unit at this stage of the campaign. I mean, they are better than anything that I have. Oops, did not mean to do that. So let's get you guys coming out here. Put them in wedge formation, and my archers are teeing off on that unit of militia sergeants. They have decent armor, though, so... It's not going to be the best fight in the world. Like, if I want to come... Yeah, let's just go in. And let's get that charge here. And yep, that routed pretty fast. Let's go back here. Then now we can go back to dealing with those archers. And now archers, or hobblers, let's go run down these archers here. you go there, and then you go after the ballista. And then, yeah, you go after the ballistas as well. Let's go back to the main lines here. And yeah, archers are just teeing off now, so that feels good. Looks like their general is taking some damage. So yeah, we've run down their archers. That's feeling pretty good. Hobblars, don't get stuck on archers, please. Go after the ballista. That'd be fantastic. And let's come back around here and deal with this. So yeah, archers are all running away. It's tempting to chase them down. It'd be nice to, you know, get rid of everything. I should be able to. I mean, 5 units of cav. That's pretty gosh darn good. In fact, let's start doing it, yeah. Prince Alfred, you go run down that unit of archers. No reason in waiting around here. And then Hobblars, yeah, just start hunting, boys. Start hunting. What do we got left over here? 3 archers left, and then you can turn back around and start going after other guys. Let's see, don't want to get caught by their militia sergeants. Unless I can hammer... Gosh, you guys are... They look like they want to run away. So it's very tempting to get a little charge in on them and try to break those militia sergeants. But yeah, that looks like a job well done. Now we're just cleaning things up. I'm a little worried just because this militia sergeant hasn't broken. So if he turns around and fights, he's going to take a chunk out of my Hobblars. But if we can break him, that'd be fantastic. There he goes. He's running away. Awesome. Easy kills. Yeah, let's get rid of that whole unit there. Now, the one thing that worries me, as much as it feels good to get rid of this whole French army, I'm a little worried just because this is going to very, very weaken the French faction, and it might leave them open to an attack from the Germans, which is not what I want. I would rather keep a buffer between myself and the Germans, even though we are allies. You know, just why let them become more powerful? But you know what? The French chose this, so here we are. And that'll do it. So we did lose 27 men, but we killed 174 and we captured 218. So yep, that feels pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty solid. Berber militia. All right. Yeah, France, what were you thinking? So yeah, they refused the ransom because they cannot afford it. So those 218 men are not going to live. Port finished here in Normandy, inn finished in Scotland. Ralph Gifford, who the hell are you? You sound famous. -1 acumen, -1 command. Alright, you suck. Prince Henry, loyal, awesome, love it. +1 loyalty, perfect. And Lord de Normandy, yeah, this is great, yeah. Yeah, you are becoming fantastic. +1 morale, -1 dread. Although, shit, you are, okay, so you are the King of Scotland, so I wanted that dread on you for a reason. Although, the reason why, the main reason why I gave him the governorship of Scotland is for that +1 command, which that grants him, but he did have 3 dread, which is nice for Scotland, you know, as you can imagine. So, yeah, shit, gotta lower the taxes, darn it. Oh well. What the hell happened here? Georgia is held by the Sicilians. I don't think I've never seen that before. What just happened? Did Georgia get bribed? Did it go rebel and were they bribed by the Sicilians? That's the only thing I can imagine. That is ridiculous, but it's awesome. That's so cool. Oh, wow. Yeah, 2 militia sergeants and then 1 spearman. And is there anything here? Fort in... Yeah, port, farmland, okay. Well, yeah, wow. Wowie, wow. That is so neat. Yeah, so the Byzantines are at war with the Sicilians. Gosh, that just happened. So the Egyptians and the Sicilians are allies. What the hell? Oh, man, that is so cool. Alright, let's just keep checking stuff out. What else is there to find out down there? Jeez, oh Pete's, that's so neat. Okay, now the keep is finished here in Mercia. That feels good. It's been 8 turns so far in this episode. Feels nice to get the keep. Nice. So, we're just going to keep down that track. The fact that we're still, like, our income is still pretty, yeah, it's like the same. Is this exactly the same at the beginning of the episode? That's crazy. 1700. All right, yeah, perfect. I mean, we haven't trained much. I trained like 3 units of Fearedmen, so yeah, not much. But we're gonna fast track this, okay? So church, 4 turns, 200 florins. It's gonna increase the morale, a morale boost of +1 to any units that are trained there. That's dope, but like not, that's not the real reason why we're doing this. Also, this allows us to train Catholic bishops. Again, super dope. I'm gonna be using those as spies in every single region on the map at some point, but that's gonna be a long project. Most importantly, though, prerequisite for the chapter house. That's the main thing that we're going for here. And I think it also gives a happiness boost to the province. There's a lot of buildings that give happiness boosts, and it doesn't mention it. It's so weird. Like, you would think that'd be like a main selling point, but it doesn't say that. You just have to kind of look it up, I guess. But yes, church, definitely. That's what we're doing. 4 turns before that's finished here in Mercia. And we're making pretty good progress, but by ignoring our military and not really training. Like, I trained like 3 Fearedmen, like I mentioned. But I've just been going infrastructure. Like, I have keeps being built in most provinces. I have my ports finished up in most provinces. And we're coming along. And once these keeps are all finished up, it's going to be a nice production chain of, getting those shipwrights going, getting boats going, getting crusade markers going here in Mercia. So things are coming along here. I like the progress so far, and that is helped in large part by our quiet borders, of course, other than the random adventure by the French, but hopefully that last battle taught them a nice little lesson. Yeah, see, this is the kind of loyalty that I expect from having a 3 influence king. Yeah, 0 loyalty on this newly trained up unit of Fearedmen. This guy has 5. That's not awful, but then this guy has 3. That's not great either. So that's the kind of issue that can be faced by having low influence guys. It's not so much the generals that already exist. It's the ones that you train up. So yeah, it kind of makes me want to like take a break from training stuff until his influence gets a bit higher, which it should. It should over time. The fact that it hasn't increased at all in the last couple turns surprises me a little bit, but it should be okay. Hopefully we won't be facing any civil war or anything like that. And we got ourselves another keep here in Wessex. That feels wonderful. Now Wessex can just go straight shipwright. Yes. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do here. 400. So that's not bad. That's cheaper than the port, and that's going to take 4 turns to build. And that will allow us to start building up barks, which is going to be our tier 1 boat available to the Catholic factions. So, yeah, is there anything else I want to prioritize? I don't think so. Yeah, for shipwright, let's go. Shipwright. And we have quite a few other keeps on the way. So yeah, we're going to be getting quite a few shipwrights going in due time. Okay, so the Egyptians have turned on the Turks, or the Turks turned on the Egyptians. I don't know which one, did who dirty, but the fact that the Egyptians are taking a Turkish territory kind of indicates that it's the Egyptians that are the attackers here. Gosh, there's like nothing in Syria. It's just a fort, nothing else. And the Egyptian armies themselves, I mean, here's their sultan. Decent influence, 2 command stars. He's a drinker, but he got some camels, urban militia, yeah, pretty basic stuff, Nubian spears. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. Let's check out Edessa, because I want to keep an eye on that. Okay, and the King of Aragon has been captured and executed. I wonder if that was... Gosh, that might have been losing Navarre again. Yeah, I think he just got killed by rebels. Man, oh man, the Aragonese are having a rough go at it. Port has been finished here in Wales. and Northumbria. And this might be like our last couple ports. Maybe we have a port in Scotland being built. Yeah, we have a port in Scotland being built. And yeah, that's going to be my last port being built up. And yeah, it's time to focus on... Yeah, I have the money for it. Let's get some keeps going here. I don't think I need to build anything else. It's just going to be Wales and Northumbria. Yeah, and I have at least $2,000, so that's enough money to put in a couple more keeps, definitely. And one thing I like about having, like, building keeps right now, or building any of these buildings take a long time, is that when you spread them out, it kind of spaces things out really nicely, so that I don't need to be building stuff in every single province at the same time, because they take such a long time to build. What happens is I have a couple provinces get freed up, and I can spend the money on it. And everything else is still working on keeps, you know, so that's kind of a nice way to spread things out here. Hey, and we just did reach our homelands objective. I kind of lost track of that one, yeah. Hopefully I scored everything. I wasn't really paying attention. Yes, we've got all the points, perfect. So 12 points and 1 for conquest. And yeah, that puts us at about we're close to the top. We are. We're a little bit beneath the Byzantines, who, what don't they own? They don't own Georgia or Lesser Armenia or Anatolia, but they own the rest of them. And then the Germans, they hold everything that they're supposed to. And the Italians, they get a really good return on their provinces. So yeah, they're doing pretty well. They own everything that they're supposed to own. Other than that, so yeah, Germans, Italians, and the Byzantines, and then me. Yeah, sweet. I'm in 4th place. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it, and I will be scoring more once I get those Crusade provinces. That's going to be pretty neat, but there's still a bit of work to be done before I get there. Now that I have the keep finished up here in Flanders, and as tempted as I am to go straight for shipwright to get, yeah, more of those buildings underway, I think it's smarter to go for the curtain wall for the keep here. It's going to be giving me that nice stone outer wall, which just gives me a bit more defenses. And Flanders it's probably like, it might be my most important province, and it is a border province. So yeah, getting that curtain wall seems like a good idea. It's only 2 turns, costs 200 florins to build it, so you know, in the long run, it's not a big deal. In provinces that do not border other factions like Brittany and Wessex, Wales, you know, Mercia, all these places, they're not going to be needing those extra defenses. But definitely for like Aquitaine, Anjou, Normandy, and Flanders, I'm going to be wanting that extra layer of protection just to make sure that I'm safe. Now, King William's son, Prince Richard, is going to be coming of age next turn. And it's a little disconcerting just because it seems like the stats of the heirs is very much determined by the influence of the current king. And the fact that he's only gotten up to 4 influence, you know, in the time that he's been king, it's a little discouraging. So I'm assuming that his son is not going to be great, which is unfortunate. Yeah, Prince Richard, I mean, he's our only hope though. So, you know, whether or not he's good or not isn't going to be too important. We just need him to be alive and for him to have sons of his own. And we are definitely going to be proactive in making sure that he does find a wife as soon as possible. So yes, the Egyptians are just kicking ass over here. And yes, Prince Richard has come of age and he is my only son. Oh, wait, what? Your monarch's virility is now legendary as his 6 sons testify. No, 5 of those are his brothers. Port is finished here in Scotland. Mercia has that church finished. Wonderful. Love it. Keep is finished here in Aquitaine. And King William III, builder, plus 10 happiness in all provinces. He needed that one. Just for Wales and Scotland, for sure. Prince Richard. Oh, man. I knew you're going to suck, but like your only trait is chinless wonder. So you have an incest trait. Great. Right off the bat, -1 acumen and -1 command, like right off the bat. It's bad. Yeah, perhaps 1 or 2 of this man's close ancestors were a little too close, resulting in an unconventional family tree. Yeah. Prince Henry, most loyal. This guy's awesome. Plus 3 loyalty and plus 1 dread. Yeah, hell yeah. Oh dear. At least you're loyal. At least 6 loyalty is fine. But yeah, 0 piety, 1 dread, 1 acumen, 1 command, 0 acumen. Oh god, that's pretty bad. But yeah, hey, I'll take it. The loyalty, I will take it. And let's get my emissary. Let's send him. Let's put him to work. Who do I want to marry into? Do I want to marry? It doesn't matter. Anyone that says yes. That's all that matters. Is there a German princess? I wouldn't mind. German princess. No. All right. Let's just talk to the Aragonese. And yeah, we'll have her see if she wants to marry this Prince Richard. And has anything changed with my glorious achievements? No, nothing. Nothing's changed. All right, sweet. I'll take it. That is A-okay. So now up here in Mercia, I can start to build the chapter house. Yay! Yeah, so this allows me to start building the crusade markers. Yeah. Well, following many of the rules that govern monasteries, the fighting orders of knighthood are not made up of monks. Instead, the knights are an elite and need establishments that reflect their unique status. These holdings also reflect the wealth, status, and piety of rulers who sponsor fighting orders. Perfect. It takes 500 florins to build it, 4 turns. Yeah, we're coming along. So yeah, that's going to be finished in the year 1130, and then we can start building our crusade markers. Ah, good. Things are coming along here. And the fact that we're pretty much finishing up our peeps as well, and we can start building up our like shipwrights here, and like Aquitaine, for instance. And we're going to be getting boats going. And with those boats will be coming trade routes, and with that will be coming money. And it's going to be time for us to start looking at which direction that we want to like send our boats in. Like in this direction, if we go east, we can trade with Friesland and Denmark and Pomerania. It's not great, but it's something. And then if we were head down here, we can trade with Leon, Portugal, and then we would have to come all the way around before we can trade with, Jesus, the Gulf of Lions or Barbary Coast. That's a bit of a stretch. Getting here is going to be nice. The Ligurian Sea to get 4 ports, that's going to be very nice. The Tyrrhenian Sea to get these 2 ports will be very nice. And then up here to the Adriatic is always a gold mine for trade to get 4 ports here. 1, 2, 5 ports. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really nice. Very, very nice. So it's going to take some building up, and this is going to get better as we go along as more factions build more ports. Apparently the AI isn't as industrious with this port building as I am, but it's going to be one of those things that does definitely pay off in the long run. But you know what? That is all going to have to wait till next time. As always, I hope you have enjoyed this one, and thank you very much for watching. This has been Constip playing Medieval Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.